several live streams, consecutive live streams. I've been talking about this topic. This time I'm going to talk about the president's role in a democracy. Now, in my country, the president of my country is apolitical. That is to say, though he may be nominated by a party or otherwise, he's apolitical. But again, the buck stops with the president's office. He's the last person to sign off on what we have is called a parliament. Instead of we don't have the Senate, and we have a Senate, sorry, and we have the House of Representatives, just like in the United States, but it's called by different names. So we have what is called Parliament, which is a British model, and we have the Senate, where the senators debate bills, and we have the House of Representatives, which they bring forward the bills and they do what they do. Now, figureheads. What is so important about the president of any country? Like the queen of a country or king, they are now figureheads. They're not necessarily people who make policy and law. So the president of the United States, for example, and don't worry about my hair and everything. The president of the United States, for example, he is a figurehead. That is to say, now he is still actively like, or whatever the party's agenda is, whatever they ran on, their I forgot what they call it, their manifesto, whatever the party's manifesto is, more than likely the president of the United States he represents that manifesto. But you have to understand what a president represents. The president is the figurehead of democracy for a country. If you look at presidents which were liked worldwide, from the United States of America, liked all across the world, think of presidents such as John F. Kennedy, right? Was loved worldwide. You think of Ronald Reagan, was loved worldwide. You think of Bill Clinton, was loved worldwide. You think of Barack Obama, was loved worldwide. The key here is the president almost advertises for democracy, the American system, and the American way, and is the figurehead. That's why the president of the United States is so important. As in presidents of other countries, my country has a president. That president is sacred. Like, if anything happens, a coup, whatever, that the priority is to preserve our president. He is the figurehead. The Queen of United Kingdom is the figurehead that represents the United Kingdom. Now, a lot of figureheads are not very functional in terms of the figurehead is the last place where things are signed and sealed, but they usually go by procedure. So they're figureheads in procedure only. The president of the United States can impact legislature, can push and influence the legislature in the Senate and the Congress. So the president of the United States actually has more say, has more clout. Wherever the president of the United States goes, whatever country, he has a lot of influence. And so he's more than just a figurehead. But in this case, the most important thing about a president is he must have the personality, the charisma, the resolve, and the likability. When a president is likable and the world likes him, everybody likes him, you have a very, very big rise in morale, and that gives America quite a lot of power and clout in the world. A likable president, a president who is someone that represents the United States of America and its democracy in a holistic way that is true to the democracy of the country. You have to understand, the United States of America has been selling democracy for many, many years now. And therefore, the president must represent what they sell. Understand, America is, its foundation is capitalism and service to mankind. There's a balance between those two things. So they are marketing their brand of service to mankind, their version of democracy. And their whole idea was to, instead of conquering nations and overthrowing nations, they started to advertise their brand of democracy to the world and hope that other nations would adopt that and go under that system. So what makes democracy different to a dictatorship or to a monarchy is that, England had tried to do that, and now they have colonies. But a democracy is deeper and better because there is no one person that runs it. It is instead a system. And what the United States of America has been trying to market all over the world is this system of governance. It goes all the way back to Rome. It goes all the way back to Egypt. A system of governance. And so the figurehead or the person that embodies that system is the president. He's imbued with a lot of powers, but usually doesn't use them or exploit them. Instead, the president is where the buck stops when legislature has to be signed off. That is mostly what a president does. He signs off things. He doesn't debate things. He may argue things outside of Congress, maybe even inside of Congress. He may pitch in his pitch, try and make people, argue his case inside of Congress. But he is not the one who determines the outcome of something. It's also mainly the brunt of it is born on Congress and the Senate. Congress and the Senate will debate whether they want any of his policies to go forward, or whoever, the minister who is putting forward the policy, whoever's putting forward the bill. And then after that, it's debated. Now, if it passes through Congress, the president has the powers of veto, which are not used and abused, but he can veto it if he does not like how it is. He's got that incredible power, whereas Congress can pass things and they need a certain amount of votes, etc. A president can just land on his desk and say, I ain't signing this, and that's veto. He could just veto something, right? But of course, just because he has the power doesn't mean he must use it indiscriminately. A proper president, a figurehead president, a president that represents the democracy, takes his role seriously and how he considers it. Because if he's going to veto something, it has to be something that is, he thinks, in the worst interest of the country. Because remember, he embodies the system of the country. So in the spirit of democracy, he conforms to his role. So you have to understand. Now, why am I speaking about all of this? If you look at all the presidents who were likable, even though they made tremendous amounts of mistakes and sometimes did some very horrific things, the figurehead, the power of them was seen throughout the world. They were seen and viewed a certain way. Had to do with their personality. Joe Biden is one of them, obviously. He's going to be somebody that's universally received and accepted throughout the world. Never mind the foolishness that people are saying right now that have no basis in fact about him. I can say they have to trump up these charges because Joe Biden is a guy who is like every middle class person out there. Okay. Tried his best, worked real hard, got his family through, went through a lot of tragedies in his life, and he's pressing onwards. Okay. This guy knows Congress inside out. He knows the Senate inside out. He knows how Washington works. Okay, but the point is how Joe Biden presents himself to the American people, and by extension, the world, because he's a world leader. The eyes of the world are always on him, makes him an appropriate figurehead. Let me contrast that with Donald Trump. There is no one anywhere, not even in America, who will say and acknowledge Donald Trump is universally accepted as, a great leader of America and a great ambassador of democracy to the world. Nobody's going to ever tell you that. No one. Okay? And that should be a prerequisite when you are looking to elect a president. That's why they always talk about personality and character. If that person He was unfit for office, and that's why Hillary Clinton said that way back when, and a lot of people. He was unfit for office. And the people who elected him knew he was unfit for office. No matter what, in the back of your mind, you said, "This guy, this is not what a president is." But you know, we're gonna elect this guy. Turned out to be the worst president of the United States of America. Okay, for some reason, people thought, "Oh, the black guy, he's less than nobody. Huh, we elected him. This got to be better. He's white. He's got blonde hair. It's a little bit bleached, but whatever. He don't worry. He's like an old boy. He's like an old boy. He talk crazy, but really, he get the job done anyway." So this is what America thought, and this is what Republicans still think to this day, because I hear some of the Republicans talking about how removing him from office is not a good idea. It will bring about more schisms in the government. And after what has happened on Wednesday, January the 6th, I don't think they have a basis or claim in that. I'm sorry. That what happened is enough. It is enough. And he needs to be removed from office immediately because he represents something that's anti-democratic. And no matter how they say, "Oh, he didn't really say, go up there." Well, what do you want to be? What we're 5-year-olds? We have to take everything absolutely literally. How many weeks he's been speaking about this? How many times do you have to hear the strong, violent language that he speaks about? What Rudy Giuliani? We are 3-year-olds. We're big grown people. The whole world's watching how you handle this. So Nancy Pelosi is 100% correct in the handling of the situation. Now let us go to what I see in media as they try to flip it and spin this story. Fox News, we're looking at you, particularly Fox News that has to do with the ones that have commentary and stuff, not the state-wise Fox 9 and those guys are reporting as they should. When I hear these people say, "Oh, well, the world it seems to be coming to only one view. People are now not entertaining other views." I say, what do you mean? Are we supposed to say there's no gravity? Just because everybody agrees that there's gravity means, oh my God, we're just isolated to one view of things now. Is that what it is? When an individual has a rally, calls everybody down to DC, then tells them to march to the Capitol. That's what he said. March to the Capitol. And then violence ensues after that. That person is responsible for giving them instructions to go to the Capitol. That person is not independent anymore. So let's go with this argument. I'm going to show you how. No way, no how. No way, no how. Whether you want to use excuses of Antifa. See, I know how to deal with fanboys because I deal with boxing all the time. And boxing's a combat sport. It's violent. It's war. So you can't bullshit me. You can't bullshit me. That's what you have to understand. I know people battle. There are always all these intellectual battles, but you can't bullshit a person who can see through shit. Oh, he can't be tried and found. Yes, he can. Overwhelmingly, he can be impeached. But let me tell you what's the real problem. The Republican Party doesn't want that on their record. So they're trying to hedge and hog to buy him more time, knowing he's a danger, a ever-present danger to the society. They know he already said it. He went and made an apology and he turned back and said, I'm not leaving. So he's a danger, a clear and present danger right now. And Twitter took swift action. Facebook took swift action. And they censored him, which they should do. And now it is imperative upon Republicans, and they will get intense pressure, because I see Mr. Hawley is already getting intense pressure from his own state. People are saying, step down. Remove yourself from office, resign. In his own state, they're already doing that. And I'm going to tell you, there's going to be massive protest all across the country. You're going to see voluminous people. America's going to rise up and protest against this. And anybody tries to do violent clashes, let me just make note. I'm going to give you a note, because when these protests begin, they will want the police and the National Guard and all these people will need to protect the people who are rightly protesting, because everything's being watched on the world stage. People are going to rise up, and you're going to see the real volume of people in the United States of America who are against this. And I'm guaranteeing you there will be global protests because of this. This is not going to end up in a civil war. There are too few of those people, although they're in strategic positions, to cause a civil war. No, this may end up being a world war. That's what you have on your hands. You have a powder keg that will explode. It can end up being World War III. That's what you're going to have to deal with. So, and trust me, there's people itching just to join the war. To join the war and fight for that cause to ensure that democracy is preserved. I don't think people understand how serious this is. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not trying to heighten things. I'm telling you, people are not going to take this shit lying down. So what Nancy Pelosi is doing, and I'm telling you right now, I'm not asking you. I have friends who are Americans right now, and they are livid. They are livid. Okay? They are livid. So you're dealing with a powder keg now that's about to explode. Because you don't do that to Americans. You just don't do that to Americans. You just don't do it to Americans. I don't care if you say you are American. You're not American. They disavow you. And this is the point of no return. When people stop looking at other people as human beings, they start seeing them as the enemy, you're in problems. You're in problems. I'm telling you, the majority of Americans do not see Donald Trump in a positive light. The majority of Americans, they don't care about Republicans. You can talk about Republican numbers how much you want. No one cares about them right now. Do you understand how people are getting more and more insensitive? They want to talk about the American people. Let me tell you about the American people. The American people are fed up and tired of this guy. They want him out. That's the truth. You want to know what the world thinks? They think the same thing. So if you want to stay with the minority of people, which is okay, we care about minorities. We care about them. We want to see them also succeed and do well in positive, prosperous things. Nobody's saying we don't care about minorities. For crying out loud, a lot of people are minorities in America. And this group of minorities, which are people from the country areas, country folk, we love country folk. Don't get it twisted. But when some country folk, having diabolical and evil intent, storm the Capitol and like terrorists terrorize it, we ain't friends with them. The switch has been turned off. You just attacked all of us, including the Trump country folk you supposedly represent. You are not a friend of America anymore. You are an enemy. And I'm telling you, I'm not asking you, the repercussions of that are tremendous. Okay? Tremendous. This is not, all of a sudden it's not Democrat and Republican. They look at you as an enemy. They train their guns on you and they come in to get you. You don't understand. In America, there is actually an amendment right to people to bear arms. You saw what happened in the South. Everybody just loaded up and everybody just armed up. And they was ready to go at it because America, almost a lot of people have been in the military. A lot of people have been militarily trained. It's not just Israel, but they have freedom of speech and freedom of mind to think whatever they want. In California, people be on the gun range all the time. It ain't, that's you said it. Americans are not separated from their guns. You got to understand how serious this is. This is not some joke. The guy's got to go. And there will be public pressure on him, not just the representatives of the public, but the entire country is going to rise up and say, get that motherfucker out of there. You know how New Yorkers say, get the fuck out of there. You know how they behave. That's what they want. They want him gone. And all the apologists for him and stuff, they're going to get fewer and fewer in number. His cabinet left him. His cabinet said this shit. No, hell no. Hell no. I'm American, motherfucker. Hell no. They drew a line in the sand, and now Vice President Mike Pence, you've been had a lot of pressure on you, but brother, save this guy. Encourage him to resign. Somebody speak to this dude. He don't know how to turn off the switch. He don't know how to stop being competitive. He don't know how to turn it off. And somebody gonna turn it off for him. Y'all gotta understand. Y'all don't understand. I know what's going on the ground. Y'all don't understand. This is deadly serious. Did you hear what I said? Deadly serious. So you heard the word I used, deadly. It's very serious. I'm trying to send a warning. There's something called agitators. And this is not going to, like I said before, this is not going to end in no civil war. This is going to be World War III. Get that man out of office. Find a way and get him out of office. He thought. He doesn't know. He don't even understand how deep this well goes, because you saw what happened with COVID. They thought they had it under control. Okay, then. He couldn't even control COVID. Listen. And see, COVID took him down. It was COVID that took him down. It wasn't fraud. It was COVID that took him down. And his nature is not to give up. He doesn't know how to rest it down and go for another day. He doesn't know how to do that. So you guys need it's like a guy fighting in the ring and he won't quit. He won't give in. The corner has to throw in the towel. The corner has to throw in the towel. Y'all got to understand, he might be in the 11th round and they're only 4 more rounds to go to the 15th. Okay, let's do modern day. He in the 11th round, he got 1 more round to go for the 12th. He not going to make it. He going to get killed. He going to get killed. Save this man so he can live another day. Do you understand what I'm saying? Look, they took out JFK. They took out JFK. And trust me, if they have to, they will take him out. Save that man. There will not be another Hitler. There will not be, listen to me carefully. You got to understand, there will not be another, y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand. This is serious. This is not about race. Y'all making it about race. Y'all making it about religion. This is about a system. They will not let this system fall. I don't think you guys understand. People have done very evil things to keep this system in order. They have sold their souls. They've destroyed their souls to keep this system. Do you understand? Y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand what's going on. Y'all think y'all understand what's going on. They're sitting on the sidelines watching it play out, but they also have their contingency plans. And if it comes to it, it's going to go down like that. you're going to have World War III. Because people are not going to take this lying down. Nobody's going to take this lying down. And we can see the play. We know what the play is. So he going to try to use force again. He's going to try. Because he can't switch off. He's not, Republicans, he's not going to last his term. Just accept the reality. Now, do you want him to last alive or do you want him to last dead? He going to be killed. They're going to kill him. He's not going to make the end of the term. He's not going to make the end of the term. I can guarantee you that. He does not have an off switch. You guys have to turn it off for him. Your Republican Party is only going to last as long as you allow it. This is a point of no return. The line has been drawn in the sand. His intention has been shown to end the entire world and the American people. You cannot make an excuse and excuse it away. Nobody's going to let you get away with it this time. You make a choice. You make a choice, brother. This going to go down one way or the other. It's going to go down. He ain't making it to the end of his term. So you might as well make a choice on his behalf. He can be mad at you. He can be spiteful. Make it. You want the Republicans Party's legacy to stay intact, then please, God, please don't let this guy go on. I stopped posting other videos because I realized how serious this moment is. I do not care if people are flagging me, if the CIA is looking up. I don't give a damn. I know I need to say this. It's very important. It's very important. Because I like democracy. I like the system. It has a lot of flaws, but it's a really good system. And what's to come is going to be terrible because people are going to lose a lot of their rights and privileges as a result of what's to come. You have to decide now and you have to act now. History will reward you for acting now, not trying to be casual about it and make excuses and play fucking politics at this time. Y'all are too compromised. Lindsey Graham, you got to make that tough choice. There is a senator right now in Congress or in the Senate who she's got Alzheimer's. She needs to be removed, relieved of her post, and removed. It's not about her feelings. It's about what is expedient. You can still be kind to her. She's not going to understand everything. But if someone is incapable of operating their office or they have violated their oath, they must be removed. Who has the moral integrity? Who has the soundness of character to make the move? Not too long ago, 15 years ago, 15 years ago or so, people actually had the integrity to understand what was going on, and it would have been a unanimous decision passed because they focused more on issues. Did they have their partisan little games that they played? Absolutely. But at least they had the soundness of mind. I saw the mores decay under Bill Clinton when people started to excuse what he did for his functionality. But at least in his case, he was functional, though he had a horrible past. People looked past that, and that was precedent for today. What is for tomorrow? What is for tomorrow? What precedent are you setting now for tomorrow? Can a standing president plan and execute an insurrection, successfully terrorize the Capitol, successfully vandalize and destroy and seek to destroy the Congress and the Senate and leave and stay his old term and nothing happens to him because he apologizes? Is this the precedent you want? Ask yourself that question. Or are you going to grab your balls and show us you have some? If Jesus did that, they still crucify his ass. It doesn't matter how much good you've done. This act is going to set a precedence. You must act on it. Bill Clinton still got impeached for what he came in the office with, that dirty laundry he had. And the erosion of morals and ethics, even in his term, he still was impeached. It was not passed in the Senate, but he was impeached. This tremendously outweighs that. It makes what he did look like a child who just tripped a little bit and is learning to walk and keeps on walking. Should he have left his office? Absolutely. He lied under oath. He should have left his office. But now, this man continuously lies, and now he's part of a sedition. There is no way around it. And if you got to find the laws to support you, you better find them. He incited the mob attack on Congress and the Senate. That's how it will go down in history. A white supremacist president incites white supremacist and radical right attack on Congress and the Senate. That's how it will go down in history. No matter how you try to spin it. The people have seen, and the people are not stupid. Now you have to distance yourself from that, and you have to take care of this man in-house. And you need to do it immediately. Handle your business, because if you don't handle it, you can be guaranteed Congress is going to introduce it. Which you prefer? The Democrats introduce it, and you say it's partisan, and you play a little partisan games, and when you play your partisan games, the people will fume. I guarantee you the people will be fuming. The people. Not this little fraction of the people. The people. What you call your base is a fraction of the Republican Party. And let me say that's a vocal fraction. Because there's another fraction of the Republican Party that hasn't been speaking out much. And you've not been paying attention to them. They're listening and they're watching everything. They're not saying much. Some are now becoming more vocal. So when you say the American people, who exactly are you speaking about? Are you speaking about the subset of Republicans who supported Trump, who could not personally reason for themselves? I was looking at one gentleman who participated in the insurrection. Businessman. He said it was the worst decision he ever made in his life. He's now without a job. He's been fired from his company, as well as he has been indicted. So he's been arrested. I looked at this woman. Her son is being carried off by the FBI. And I'm mad because I warned about this. I said, don't let him fool you. And the guy had a promising political future. That's why I'm so livid right now. That's why I'm so angry. They played you. They played the American people. They had them as tools for the bidding of a man who's a puppet of Putin. They played you. Because they used you as a cover for the extremist right groups. They chained you up and they filled you with all this brainwash shit. And then you went down. You were played. But everything has consequences. Now you're public enemy number one, and your neighbors are shunning you, and people don't want to see you. And I feel sorry for you, because I'm pretty sure you got roped in by the internet. Again, I'm going to advise you people out there, do not be quick to speak or act about something you only have one side of the story about. Do your homework. And some of you say, but I did do my homework. Nope, you got doped. You got doped. Now, after this person is charged and convicted and probably in federal prison, if they can allow people to visit that person, I hope that person writes a book and tells their story. But everything has consequences. And especially as you set a precedent, they're going to come on doubly hard on you. To let people know that precedent wasn't as successful as it thought it would be. Not against the United States of America. They have to make that statement on you. And you, unfortunately, are a victim of that. And it is what it is. That's the price of following your convictions sometimes, especially when you're wrong. So the president, somebody's trying to call me. The president, I just have to wait for this to bear out. The president of the United States of America is a figurehead. Is this what you want the United States of America to represent? Oh, when I can't get my way, I just destroy democracy? Is that what it is? Is this what the symbol that we're going to represent each other with now? Because that is chaotic. It's chaotic. If I could mute that thing, I would mute it. Let me see if I can. There we go. What's the use having Congress? What's the use having the Senate? What's the use when we could just bypass all of that? What's the use having elections? Just bypass all of that or redo it all over again until we get the result we want. Right? Banana Republic. This president has been speaking coup attempt language for the longest while. By not accepting the results and talking about fraud all the time in an election, he's basically prefaced a coup. So it's not surprising his language and how it leads up to his language that we have a coup. An attempted coup. Actually, a successful coup. A coup for 5 hours where the government was overthrown. It was overthrown. It could have been worse, but it was overthrown. There was a lockdown and the government had to cease doing business. It was an overthrow of the government, a coup. Very serious offense, punishable by as much as 20 years in prison. It's very serious what happened. A lot of these people's lives are over. They're going to spend the rest of their lives outside of the democracy in prison. Like I said, prison, the military, and the courts are not democratically run. They are autocratically run. So if that's the system that they want, then it's only fitting and consequential that they enter a system like that, except they won't be in control. Because they want autocratic rule. They want a leader to be a servant of. So fine, the state can afford you that. It won't be the leader you want. He might be in the system with you, but he's not going to be your leader. But if that's the system you want, we've got that system for you. It's called prison. The Army teaches you discipline. That's what the Army teaches you. And what people don't understand is democracy is freedom within limits. Let me say that again, because a lot of people don't know that. They think it's just freedom. And they talk about freedom, freedom. No, there's freedom within limits. You're free to do a lot of things, but there are certain things you're not free to do. There's accountability in the system. It's inbuilt in the system. That's why there are laws. You breach the laws, you suffer the consequences. So, therefore, as much as democracy, we talk about freedom, 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 the truth be told, the freedom is limited, and particularly the laws are made so that the freedoms that individuals have do not infringe on the freedoms other individuals have. So, the traffic lights, the laws of the road. Before you can drive on the road, you must know the laws that govern driving on the road. So you're not just going to go on the road and do any old fucking thing you want to do. If I decide I want to drive down, the opposite side of the freeway, that's bullshit. That brings chaos. And what happened on Wednesday brought chaos. Why? Because the individuals did not follow the laws and rules laid out, saying that they have the freedom and that this is their Senate and this is their Congress. But the rules of the Senate and Congress say this may be your Senate and Congress, but you are not supposed to be there at any old time. You got to obey the rules because there are people already there to represent you. Now, if they had gone down to the Capitol and started their process outside of D.C., outside of Washington, what they would have shown is their presence. They were supposed to make a presence statement. What I mean by that is they were supposed to go down to D.C. and show, no, there's a substantial portion of us that don't agree with this. That was all they were supposed to do. And be forceful with it, no problem. Emphasize your argument. Nobody has a problem with that. But they intended to break through into the Capitol and literally attack Congress and the Senate, and they did not care. Listen to me carefully. They did not care about who was supporting them or not. That would be ciphered out when they reached out in Congress. Mob rule, chaos. And the critical thing which will indict President Trump is that he did not come out immediately and denounce that violence. In fact, he applauded it and embraced the people by saying, "We love you." Unacceptable. So he can be indicted for inciting violence. I don't care what anybody says, because the world saw it. And you could bullshit us with all the law terms and stuff. The world saw it. And they remember Adolf Hitler when he won the election finally, how he brought down the Nazis to sit in there to intimidate the then legislature and the then legislatures to do his bidding. That's the parallel. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. That's the parallel. That's how he got full powers. He was a chancellor. But they elevated him to Führer through intimidation. That is why the Congress and the Senate said, we shall not be intimidated from doing our duty. And I want to give this prop to Kelly Loeffler. Kelly Loeffler, in a pang of conscience, understanding, she probably, because she's so smart, saw the steps down, what could have happened. That is what the figurehead of the United States of America has done for your country. A coup. So undemocratic. And you're going to let that guy? Oh no, you're not going to do that, are you? You're going to make excuses for that guy on Fox News? Really? Oh, let him last out. Fuck no. 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 He must go. He goes quietly. Oh, he goes screaming. But he's got to go. He's got to go. He's got to go. And you can play your little political games. This is a point in time, which is an emergency. Emergency. Because that man ain't going to give up. So you might as well try and get him out of office now, because he's not going to leave. And you got to show him it's either our way or the highway. You got to put your foot down on this. This is a spoiled little brat child who's always had his way and screaming and kicking. And now you got to be prepared to kick his ass if you have to, and tell him, shut the fuck up. And this is what we're going to do. And if he screams, slap him. Give him 20 minutes with the Secret Service in the room. He likes to talk about, be tough on them. Nah, well, it's about time they be tough on you. I'm serious. My tolerance for this guy has just zipped out the window. I was an apologist somewhat for him because I understood the office and the figurehead, but he just fucked it all up in one move. He fucked it all up. So that man needs to get out. He needs to get out, and he needs to get out now. Get him out of office. Get him out of office, and you know he's going to the court next. His days of democracy are over. He don't want no democracy, so give him what he wants. But he's not going to be the ruler this time. He's going to be the servant. He's going to have to take advice. And you'll say, well, the shame, the 45th president, I don't give a fuck. The days of shame are over. He brought it upon himself when he made America a laughing stock of their enemies, and he was ashamed on those who represent democracy worldwide. Those days are over. He's past that now. He ain't got no shame anyway. Get him the fuck out of there. Get him out. And if they impeach him, he ain't got no future in politics. And all those people, those 100 and whatever congressmen and those 8 senators, you ain't got no future in politics. I'm sorry. Your days are over too. Replace them. Replace them. Because you don't care about democracy. You don't care about democracy. You're talking, but you're just full of shit. You're the people that make up stuff. Okay? Not sincere in your stuff. And you know what they do? They said in 2016, there was this big protest, but it was shut down. Joe Biden shut them down. He didn't allow it. Something Mike Pence couldn't do because he didn't have the character, the solid foundation to do it. He allowed it to play out. He should have said, no, 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 no. Just like what Joe Biden did, but he didn't do that. So I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. This is not them versus us in terms of Republicans versus Democrats or Democrats versus Republicans. This is not that game right now. That game needs to take a break. And what needs to come forward is that man needs to leave office now, because if you leave him in office, it's going to get worse. And by removing him, the threat is not gone. The people who have been mobilized, they are already inspired by what they do. And even though you arrest all of them, there are others of them around. So you have to be more vigilant. But by removing him from office, what is their incentive? To overthrow the government. Spite? Sure, absolutely. But they're going to try to overthrow the government again. And they must be treated like terrorists. Regardless of if Donald Trump is there or not. They're going to try. So, once the spoiled kids, you see, what you have to do is take out the leader of the spoiled kids. You remove the leader, all of a sudden, they're a little bit in disarray, and that's how you can quell it. That's how you can bring unity. That's how you can bring peace. But if you have the agitator in the midst of there, you're not going to get peace. You're not going to get peace. He's got to be removed. There is no other way. I can see. Maybe there are other ways. We'll see how everything plays out in the end. I was listening to Roland Martin, I think is his YouTube channel, and they were talking about the game that it seems that Trump and Biden are playing. It's not a game. This is not a game. This is not a game. Biden's not playing any game with Trump. You know how I know this? Because Trump's still saying, he's still saying he's been robbed and he's not stepping down. He's still saying it. And if you feel these people are not going to try again, but in a much more coordinated way, you are mistaken. Throughout the entire Biden presidency, people need to be on their P's and Q's. That's all I got to say for now. I'm only talking specifically from a system point of view concerning democracy. I'm not speaking on a class view, I'm not speaking on an intellectual view, I'm not speaking on a race view, I'm not speaking on a gender view. I'm speaking strictly on a systemic view. I've gone very fundamental. He has to go. What you need in the building? Peace.